James Costa is a Democratic congressman from California. He was among those evacuated from Capitol Hill a year ago. I asked him what he made of President Biden's speech today.
I thought President Biden's speech was strong, it was focused, and it laid responsibility where responsibility lies, which is on the previous president of the United States, who, after the largest turnout ever in the history of American presidential elections, a victory margin of over 8 million votes by President Biden, he then began with his cohorts to plan a way in which he could stay in power. We are in the process now of doing the investigation in Congress on all of the events that led to this insurrection on January 6th.
Are you hopeful that that committee and its findings will make a difference?
I think they're part of making a difference. And frankly, this issue of nationalism, this issue of attempting to attack the various institutions of democratic governments is not limited to the United States. And so we're all in this together.
You say you're all in it together. There are large numbers of your Republican colleagues in Congress who still maintain that the election was stolen, and you have large numbers of Republican voters who believe that the election was stolen. How do you either convince them democracy worked, or do you just have to accept now that that narrative is embedded in a certain sizable proportion of American voters?
I don't believe I have to accept that we should just dismiss or discount the fact that significant people of the American public believed in this big lie that President Trump continues to perpetrate daily. But I think it's all the more reason why President Biden's speech today was so important. And we must push back on every platform available.
How do you push back and reach out at the same time? That's the paradox, isn't it? He said he's ready to reach out and work together with everyone, yet at the same time he said that the party that you sit alongside in Congress is no longer the party of the Bushes, the Reagans. It is a different party now.
He went all the way back to the party of Lincoln. Yes, there's a paradox, but historically in America, I have had political parties, whether it be the Democratic Party or the Republican Party or other parties that have existed, the Whig Party and so forth, that have fallen in disfavor when they've lost their way. Many of my Republican friends feel very disheartened as to the direction their Republican Party has gone into in the last 4 to 5 years.
Does the current Republican Party represent a threat to democracy in the United States?
I think elements of it do. I think when you have 140 members of the House of Representatives who I served with a year ago today, after everything that had taken place that day, still that evening, willing to decertify the votes of Arizona and Pennsylvania. Very disheartening.
There must be people that you've served alongside and have known for years who took that decision. I mean, have you been able to speak to them since? Have you kept relationships with people that did that?
Well, I think they fall in several different categories in my mind. The ones who spoke before the president did at the rally there at the White House and said we need to go forward and march to the Capitol and kick ass. My respect for them is obviously gone. There are other members that quietly confide with me that they're very disheartened. Some are choosing not to run for re-election, but that they simply can't overcome the strong Trump base in their congressional districts, and their voices are muted as a result of that.
That's a broad point to end on. How far has America moved on?
Well, I think that assessment is too soon to be determined. We're still in the process of that healing effort.